Tell you what, we've been talking a lot about tennis royalty. It's great to be next to this man, the voice and the face of tennis for so long here at the Australian Open. Jim Courier's here. Great to see you, Jim.
It's great to be with you.
We're
talking on 9.
Oh, it's very exciting. There's no doubt about that. And as we've got the fans sort of pouring in, ready to come for the tennis, you can feel the vibe building. We talk about your commentary and your interviews on court, but let's not forget, you're a multiple champion here as well, going back to 92, 93. Not only victories here, but you got dunked in the Yarra at the same time as well.
Clown tank.
And a lot of people make you relive those moments too, so we thought we'd do the same here today as well. We're talking 26 years ago. Does it feel like a quarter of a century?
It doesn't. It's gone really quickly, which, you know, life is fast. There's a lot happens, but it was a great time in my life playing this tournament, going with my coach, Brad Stein, who's now coaching Kevin Anderson. Brad dared me, said, if you win this tournament, we're going in. And so he came in with me, yeah. What you don't know is that I was so dehydrated from the final that day. It was so hot that I was cramping up as I was desperately trying to get back to shore there without locking up in the Yarra. But I got out of there, and we made it to the plane safely the next day, and that's a special memory for sure.
It sure is.
Yeah.
You come away from that, obviously, as a champion. What memory sticks out to you as both a player here at the Australian Open, but also as a commentator over the years too?
Well, certainly as a player, the first time I came down to play and just being in Australia, I never played as a junior here, so to get to come down here and then become really comfortable here after so many years of coming for the summer, I love it here. As a commentator, I've had an amazing seat for so many matches. I mean, watching Leighton make his great run. It was my first year doing television here in 2005, where he made the run to the final, and Marat Safin stopped him. Safin with an amazing win over Federer that year. And of course, we've just seen so many epics. And Federer, 2 years ago, beating Nadal from 3-1 down in the fifth set to win that major was phenomenal, among many memories.
When you talk about those greats, how long do you think we've got left to be able to sit back and watch the big three, and most notably, I would imagine, Roger Federer?
Yeah, well, sadly, Andy Murray, this will be his last one, and this may be his last match today. But for Federer, he's been so lucky with his health. He's also, you know, he doesn't tax himself too much with his game. Nadal, a little bit more damage to his body because of how much more physicality he uses in his game, but he's still picking his spots, still very viable, and Djokovic looks like he has a good, clean run ahead of him. So I think we still have some more big three dominance ahead of us.
Okay, what about players from your area that are now out coaching? Have you ever been tempted? We see Andre Agassi's been doing a lot of work with Grigor Dimitrov along the way, whether it's Boris Becker, he's thrown in.
Stefan Edberg, spent time with Roger.
Goran Ivanisevic also out there.
So many, Michael Chang, yeah. It's very tempting, and it's flattering to get asked to coach some players, which has happened from time to time for me. I have a young family, so the thought of being on the road for as much as is required to be a proper coach is not something that's tempted me yet. I did enjoy 8 years as the U.S. Davis Cup captain, so for me that was a really wonderful experience, spending time with the players, but not on a 52-week basis, which is pretty difficult.
You've got some history too with Andre, on and off the court, but we dug into the archives. We thought day one, got to pull out something special, not just the Yarra jump, but then look at the do.
Oh, yes.
Both of you were sporting there as well.
With Nick Bollettieri in the center. We were going to the academy at that point in time. I had a raging mullet and braces. It was not a good time in my life.
You got the high top
from
sort of going on there as well.
From a style standpoint, it was not good. Andre had the frosted tips, and he had a world-class rat tail. It was the 80s, people. You can forgive us. Yeah. You must.
I tell you what, it looks good on the big screen here at the Mastercards People's Court as well. Hey, look, we talk about the big three and just how much longer they do have. What about the next generation of players coming through? We've been talking about them for a while now too, whether it's Zverev, Tsitsipas, maybe an Aussie as well. Is this a year? Is this the event?
Well, I don't think it is just yet, but it would be nice to be wrong, actually, and to see a player under 30 actually win a major, because right now there's no player under 30 who's ever won a major in men's tennis. But Zverev has been knocking on the door from a ranking standpoint. He's number 4 right now. Tsitsipas in the top 20. He has a lot of talent. And Alex de Minaur is so focused. He's so fit, so fiery and feisty on the court. There's so much to like about him. What a ride. He was 200 in the world this time last year. Now top 30 with a title under his belt. It's awesome.
You mentioned Andy Murray before. It was pretty emotional scenes that we had here at Melbourne Park ahead of the event, where he did announce that perhaps this could be his last tournament. That hip injury that crippled his 2018 really taking its toll, and was quite hard to watch too.
I said to my team, look, I think I can kind of get through this until Wimbledon. That is where I would like to that's where I would like to stop playing. But I'm also not certain I'm able to do that.
Oh yeah, Andy Murray. It was hard to watch, just seeing him there, how raw and emotional that press conference was. And I guess no one really saw that coming either.
I mean, there's certainly been hints. He played a tournament last year in the United States before the U.S. Open where he broke down in tears for a couple of minutes before leaving the court after a win. So I think there were indications that his hip was just not giving him what he needed, but it did sort of take our breath away when he made that announcement in the press conference.
And look, he wanted to go out at Wimbledon. He's still hoping, but we'll see how it does unfold for Andy Murray here at Melbourne Park. Now, it's the MasterCard People's Court. There's going to be a lot of people coming through the gates and having some fun on this court throughout the day, but for now and throughout the next 2 weeks, it's a faster serve competition.
Ooh, it's a challenge?
We have the technology all over this. Now, Sam Groth, who we know, one of the fastest servers of all time, he tested the technology out yesterday.
Okay.
And look, things were going okay, and he's a bit rusty, he wasn't really tired for it, and then he decided to break the screen. Over 200 clicks an hour, and yep. So I'm very happy we did test it out, and I'm very happy to say too the screen has been fixed, Jim.
It has.
So we're good to go today. Now you are going to be the pace setter. So
I am.
you are #1 here at MasterCard People's Court.
All right, so I'm #1, and I'm going to do it with this jacket on.
All right.
The first time in my life I've ever hit a serve in a sport coat. So let's see
know.
how this works. Huh? Do I have to line up behind the line?
Yeah, you got to get behind the
All right,
line.
here we go.
But I think all you have to do is hit the screen, so it doesn't necessarily need to be an ace.
Okay, not my racket, but we're going to give it a go. Here we go.
It's all you, Jim.
All right, here it is.
Plenty of spare balls if you need them. Oh, bang, got it over. There was a flash too.
That was a flash.
It didn't break, but you got it over there.
That might have been my rotator cuff flashing out.
You're not going to have to retire hurt, are you?
Again?
It's good fun. Now the technology is assessing the situation.
Okay.
We've got Hawkeye all over this. We've got our speedometer.
Okay.
135 k's an hour.
That was weak.
That's
really, I should
probably not what it used to be.
Should
but
not serve in a jacket. I can normally get close to 200, so that was not it.
all right, but we'll take it.
It is what it is. It's done now, right?
We're off and running in the fastest serve competition. Well done, Jim.
This racket is a piece of nothing, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's terrible.
We're not sure where we dragged that out from.
I don't know. Hurt my elbow, though.
You stay with me. Don't move anywhere. As I mentioned earlier, with Lauren Phillips out and about, there's so much action outside the tennis courts and in them too. For the first time for the fortnight, it's over to Clint Stenaway. Morning, Clint.
Good morning to you, James, from the practice court where the sun is shining, as you can see behind me, and the stars are really shining too. None more so than the number 14 seed here in the men's draw, Stefanos Tsitsipas, the up-and-comer from Greece. He'll take to the court later on today, show court 3, Matteo Berrettini, his opponent. We've already seen Serena Williams, the 23-time Grand Slam champion, out here on the practice court too. Some amazing scenes with the people really getting around the practice court. So if you're around the precinct, get out here and check out some of the stars of the show.
All right, great stuff. Thank you very much, Clint. Clint Stenaway will be bringing us up to date with everything from around Melbourne Park throughout the fortnight. Jim, before we let you go, where are you off to now? How does day one look for you?
I'm going to be calling Alex de Minaur's match a little bit later with Todd Woodbridge, so I have a little bit of time to rest, grab a little bite, maybe watch a little bit of the 11 o'clock matches.
Beautiful. It's not too far away. Thank you, Jim. Great to have him on for the very first time. The great Jim Courier, the voice of tennis here ahead of the Australian Open. Late in the tennis, it's been really enjoyable watching the couple of weeks leading up, and in particular watching Alex de Minaur do what he did in Sydney and watching you in the stands riding that wave of emotion as well. How proud of you? How proud of him were you on Saturday night to see him not only win the final at 19 years of age in front of his home crowd, but those 2 big matches in one day in such heat?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a mental battle as well as a physical one for him on Saturday. He came so close to winning the Sydney International a year ago, losing 7-5 in the third set to Daniil Medvedev, who's such a quality player. He wanted it so badly this year. He'd done all the right preparation, had a massive pre-season here in Australia as well, where he built up his base. So going into that second match, the final on Saturday, that was the biggest thing I was telling him. You've done all the hard work, mate. It's time to go out there and get your reward, and justifies what he got. He got it absolutely in spades there. It meant so much to him. I just really urged him to come here to Melbourne Park yesterday. He had a day off, but it was to embrace the whole situation. It's not too often that you actually get to win a title, so for him to really enjoy it, as soon as he left Melbourne Park last night, it's time to switch on, get ready for today.
Oh yeah, and with it comes a lot of expectation too. I mean, we think back to his debut as an 18-year-old. Here he is, a bit more experience as a 19-year-old. Leighton, you started at 15 at the Australian Open.
It was a long time ago. Yeah, I qualified as a 15-year-old. I took on Sergi Beguera, who was a 2-time French Open winner, back on show court 3 there. You know, 1997, it was a lifetime ago, but for Alex to come in this year, yes, there is the weight of expectation, but as a 19-year-old, you want to be here. This is where you want to be part of. One of the biggest events in the world. He's playing in front of his home crowd. He loves the electricity of the crowd out there getting behind him. He's going to be on Margaret Court Arena later today, and you know, I think he'll play pretty well.